Here we're going to prep the board for the fourth probe tip, which will come in this location over here. We'll solder in at these points down there. To do that, we will be placing an eraser wedge to mount the probe on, securing the probe in place, and then finally soldering the probe. So we're going to prep where the probe needs to go via the eraser placement, and then eyeballing where the probe goes. Now we'll place the eraser and secure it into place with some Kapton tape. Note this is the most difficult probe to place because it is the last one, the fourth one we're putting down. Now we're going to place the probe tip to make sure the leads can hit the solder joints, and then trim the probe ends accordingly.
I'm going to have to back that eraser out a little bit, I think.
Our lead size are currently 0.4 centimeters, and we're going to be cutting them even shorter once we place the probe tip in the board. So now we're placing the probe tip, and we'll tape it into place and then adjust the leads such that they touch down on the solder points. Once the head is taped and secured, the entire probe will be strained relief onto the board. Now we'll strain relief the rest of the probe before soldering.
What we're looking for is that we can tug on this end, and under the microscope, the tip isn't moving at all. You gonna narrate or me?
So now we're going to trim the leads, cutting off about 0.15 centimeters. Now our leads are short as possible, and we'll adjust them down to the solder points. Now we're adjusting the leads to the solder point positions. And any minimal probe head adjustments such that the leads end up right on top of the probe points. The goal is to get them in place such that you just touch the soldering iron to them and there's no movement of them. So now we'll pre-tin the soldering iron to get a little solder on there, as well as pre-tin the leads to get a little soldering on the leads, such that you don't have to put any solder down when you're actually making the connection.
Okay, so I've got a little bit of solder on the tip. I'm going to bring it in and just tin the lead, tin the other lead. Okay, that's too much. Tissue.
Now we're going to add a little flux to help the solder flow to the leads and the solder point. Now it's time to solder.
Okay, hold on just a second. I'm ready.
Good. So now we're going to solder the back lead first.
Looks connected. And I'm going to do the front one. That's connected. Okay.
Go.
Okay, so I'm going to give a little side pressure with the tweezers at the base of the solder joint just to make sure that it's firm and solid connection. Okay, looks good. And now, you're still recording?
Mm-hmm.
Now we'll do continuity. So if you want to back out a little bit, I'm going to have one tip way back at the connector, and then I'm going to bring the other tip on top of the probe. Getting that?
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing, I'm going to go to the other connector way back off the board, and I'm going to put the other side of the probe.